I'd like to welcome everybody out here tonight to our ceremonial Riverton Police Department swearing in. I'm Mayor Trent Staggs, and again, welcome. We're so grateful that so many of you from the community are here. I'm here tonight with our elected officials on stage, and also our chief and our city recorder. We have with us Councilmember Baroker, Councilmember Tingy, Councilmember McKay, Councilmember Stewart. Councilmember Johnson is away, out of state unfortunately, and sends his regrets. We also have, like I said, our Chief Hudson here with us on stage, and our city reporter, Virginia Loder. I also want to recognize all of the other dignitaries that we have. We have several elected officials that are here, and we thank you very much for your attendance here this evening. We'll start out with an invocation that'll be offered by Pastor Tyson Pepper. He is the Utah Police Officers Association chaplain, after which we are going to be honored to have the presentation of the colors by the UFA Honor Guard. Pastor.
Let us pray together. Our Father, as we bow our heads tonight before you, as we come before you this evening, we acknowledge your faithfulness and we give you praise for the truth found in your word. Paul writes to us in Romans 13, "For the authorities do not strike fear in people who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong." Would you like to live a life without fear of the authorities? Do what is right, and they will honor you. Thank you for surrounding us with a shield of servants who are willing to protect our community, a wall of warriors who patrol our streets to defend truth, humanity, and justice. These officers are cut from the same cloth we find in John 15:13. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's own friends. The officers of the Riverton Police Department display this very character of this verse. The Riverton Police Department is trained for all circumstances, knowing that across the great nation there are thousands of others just like them. They are willing to be up all night, willing to defend our security. The risks they take gives us the confidence to sleep through the night. Lord, you've designed the lives of these men and women of the Riverton Police Department with a desire and a calling to be part of something greater than themselves. Let these law enforcement officers be a contributing part of this community. Bless the command staff with your wisdom to lead the department with a proactive mission of public safety. Help them motivate their ranks to be the best law enforcement officers to serve the citizens of Riverton. God, make these officers men and women who care about others. Give them the compassion to police their communities. I realize there are both strengths and weaknesses when exercising the gift of mercy. Give these officers the insight and wisdom to set the proper boundaries. Lord, you have been so merciful to us in ways we cannot expect or explain. Teach us to show mercy like you do. We thank the families who support the loved ones in this meaningful work. Having one another to rely on, sharing the good times and the bad times as they rest together. Let the officers rise to meet their expectations of their families. Give them the strength to live a balanced life. And a final word from Paul from Ephesians. Be strong in the Lord and mighty in his power. Put on all the armor of God, so that you will be able to stand firm. We say these things in the name of our resurrected Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, UFA Honor Guard, and Lily. Hiatus, may be seated. Council members, Chief Hudson, Riverton officers and family, Riverton employees, honored guests, and fellow citizens, it's with a profound sense of gratitude and humility that I come before you tonight to recognize our new Riverton Police Department and mark their symbolic act of taking the oath of office in the service and defense of our great community. No doubt this is an historic event and something that will benefit our community in innumerable ways. I firmly believe that God has granted every individual on this planet the right to life, liberty, and property. It's what our founders described and enshrined in our founding documents as inalienable rights. These rights are not granted by government. If government could grant them, then they would be able to take them away. It is, however, the duty of every moral government to protect those inalienable rights. It is the very reason, in fact, why governments are instituted among society. There's nothing greater, nothing more important, and nothing more honorable we can do than this. The decision, therefore, of this Riverton City governing body to provide for the protection of their citizens with its own dedicated police force in lieu of a continuation to contract for these services was taken with the utmost seriousness it deserves. Elected officials and city employees alike spent countless hours in the study and the evaluation of standing up its own police department. Public debate, financial analysis, community input, all were taken into account. After all of that study, it was determined that our citizenry would benefit from providing our own police service. Our last year's budget with our contracted service was $5.6 million, with an average of 26 police officers in our precinct. You will be introduced tonight to 35 sworn officers and 3 civilian support staff. This increase of 9 officers increasing, along with providing the most competitive compensation and all of the equipment and operational costs requisite to conduct this most critical function of government, comes at $5.8 million, which is less than the anticipated increase we would have received from our contracted provider starting July 1st. Beyond the financial, however, the benefits of having these 35 dedicated officers in our community are numerous. I've had the opportunity to meet every single one of these officers. Without exception, they are all invested and committed to the success of our community and to the protection of life, liberty, and property. This force is an enviable group, boasting on average decades of experience for command positions, and with half of officers having more than 10 years of experience. This experience encompasses everything from drug trafficking to homicide investigations and traffic control to SWAT. Their specific experiences and specialty assignments allow us to more than adequately provide for our protection from day one. They bring best practices from multiple agencies and areas of specialization that will provide our residents with a level of service that is unparalleled. As I indicated earlier, individuals institute government and provide to that creation the capability to enforce laws and ordinances whose ultimate aim should be the protection of life, liberty, and property. These laws are passed by duly elected representatives on our city councils and our state legislatures. As mayor, I am charged specifically with keeping the peace and enforcing all of the laws of the municipality. Recognizing that this power is ultimately your power and merely on loan to me, and temporary at that, and after the determination was made that our community would be better served by providing for its own law enforcement, I asked for a search to be conducted for our new Riverton police chief that could help me fulfill such an awesome responsibility. An individual whose integrity is beyond reproach and who could compassionately and competently carry out the duty of enforcing all the laws of the municipality and state within our city. After a thorough review of several incredibly qualified candidates and collaboration with other elected officials and city employees, it's with a great sense of pride that I was able to forward on to the City Council my appointment, recommendation for our first Riverton Chief of Police, Chief Don Hudson. Chief Hudson embodies all the characteristics of someone you would want appointed with such a sacred duty of keeping the peace and enforcing the law. Chief Hudson has served as a law enforcement officer in Utah for 31 years, with the majority of that time spent working for Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office and Unified Police Department. He worked as a gang unit detective, SWAT team operator, narcotics unit detective, DEA task force officer, jail investigations, public information officer, and commanded the investigations division. Most recently, he served as precinct chief in Holiday City. He is a graduate of Utah State University and the FBI National Academy. It is my distinct honor, therefore, to welcome Chief Hudson and congratulate him on a job well done. In just 6 months' time, he has built a police agency second to none in this state. May God grant you the wisdom, the compassion, and fortitude in carrying out your duties. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you with your new Riverton Police Chief, Don Hudson.
Thank you very much. What an honor it is to be here tonight on this emotional evening. And what an honor it has been to get to know these police officers. These law enforcement professionals that will serve the city of Riverton well for years to come. I have some remarks, but we kind of thought about what would be the best format for this. You see a lot of the biographies in the program if you received the program when you were coming in, but we wanted it to be kind of a sports theme, I play the announcer and introduce our starting lineup of the Riverton Police Department. So that's kind of how the format is going to go. We're going to bring up these officers and let you hear a little bit about them. The purpose of that is literally to provide confidence to those people who we will serve. I know how good they are. I know how competent they are. I know their level of professionalism, and it is extremely high. But I want you all to hear that as well. So we're going to go through this starting lineup, and then I'll say a few words, and then we're going to exit into the foyer, and we have some treats at the conclusion of my words. I think we'll begin with the introduction of the starting lineup. If you all could please, I know it's going to be tempting for everybody, especially family members and people who are here to support are going to want to cheer, but maybe we could save a big, big, huge round of applause for the very end, if we can do that. So, is it possible to turn the lights up a little bit so that people can see, or can we, right, there we go, that's better. Okay, let's begin. Todd Groskebauer is a commander with our organization. Todd comes to Riverton after 26 years of service with the Provo Police Department, where he served as a sergeant, lieutenant, and most recently as a captain. He's filled many roles, including school resource officer, gang officer, narcotics officer, detective, and Metro SWAT team member and commander. He began his career as a military police officer and served in Operation Desert Storm. He's been an instructor in the Law Enforcement Academy for 21 years, mentoring hundreds of new officers. He's the father of 4 children and has 4 amazing grandchildren. Todd Groskebauer. We'll do a really long one at the end. How about that? Commander Ryan Shosted. Ryan has been a police officer for 19 years, working at 2 different agencies during his career, has given him diverse experience and training. He is a Utah native. He originally worked for Sandy Police Department and then Cottonwood Heights Police Department. He has specialized in patrol and detective work and spent several years in administration of police departments. He is married to his beautiful wife, Alicia, and has 2 stepkids. He has his bachelor's degree in computer science. Ryan Shosted. By the way, some people in their bios, when we had them write them, put wonderful adjectives in front of their children and their wives, but I can say every single person here has a beautiful wife or spouse or significant other, and beautiful children and beautiful grandchildren. They're awesome, all of them. Next is Sergeant Trudy Cropper. Trudy comes to Riverton from the West Valley Police Department. After 19.5 years, she spent much of her career investigating gangs, narcotics, and fugitives. Her roles included patrol field training officer, the High Enforcement Apprehension Team, Metro Gang Unit, and the FBI Violent Crimes Task Force. She was promoted to sergeant in 2009 and is supervised in patrols, FBI Safe Streets Task Force, Community-Oriented Policing Unit, Special Investigations Unit, and Domestic Violence Unit. She loves to travel, bake, and spend time with family. Trudy Cropper. Next is Shane Taylor. Shane has over 30 years of law enforcement experience. He retired from the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office in 2010 and has spent the last 9 years working at the Saratoga Springs Police Department until accepting employment with Riverton. Shane has spent his career working various assignments to include investigations, SWAT, sniper, K-9, and patrol. He was promoted to corporal in 2012 and shortly thereafter the rank of sergeant. Shane adores his family and spending time with his horses. Shane Taylor. Chase Thomas. Sergeant. Chase worked for the Provo City Police Department for 16 and a half years, most recently at the rank of sergeant. Roles he served include field training officer, drug recognition expert, OC instructor, special victims unit detective, and SWAT and mountain rescue team. He was awarded the LeGrand J. Becker Exemplary Service Award in 2014 for his dedication and service to the community. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He's been married to his wife Mindy for 15 years and they have 4 children. Chase Thomas. John Arnoldson. John Arnoldson has been in law enforcement for 11 years. He spent his entire career with the Orem Police Department until coming to Riverton. John worked as a patrol officer, a field training officer, SWAT operator, and as a K-9 handler working with his patrol dog, Cooper. He promoted corporal in 2015 and to sergeant in 2017. John lives in Orem with his true pride and joy, his wife Sarah, and his 6 children, Abilene, Elizabeth, Vance, Mary, Chloe, and Anna Mae. John Arnoldson. Dan Thomas. Dan served in the Marine Corps for 10 years and was deployed twice to Iraq, including the invasion in 2003. He joined the Utah County Sheriff's Office after returning home. He's worked as a patrol deputy, detective, drug trafficking officer, and patrol sergeant. He spent 13 years on the Utah County Metro SWAT team. He has had the opportunity to teach operators and snipers from around the world. Dan adores his wife and 6 children. He takes pride in being a family man. Dan Thomas. Tony Wolfgram. Tony comes to Riverton from the Cottonwood Heights Police Department, where he worked in patrol, investigation, SWAT, and a short stint at the DEA. He spent many years working at the West Valley City Police Department, where he worked in the areas of patrol and community-oriented policing. He was born in Hawaii and spent his childhood years in Tonga before his family moved to West Valley City. He and his wife Doris have 3 children, Daphne, Sola, and Alina. Tony Wolfgram. That's awesome. Anthony Brereton. Tony Brereton is an officer. Anthony is a 24-year veteran of Utah law enforcement. He began his career at the Utah State Prison in 1995. In 1996, he was hired by the Salt Lake City Police Department, where his roles included patrol, motor officer, K-9 handler, and sergeant. In 2017, he began work with the Utah Transit Authority Police Department, where he became a bomb, K-9 handler, and K-9 instructor. Officer Brereton has been married to his wife Kara for 25 years. They have 3 children and 1 grandson. Mike Ashley. Mike has served in law enforcement for more than 20 years, where he had many special assignments, including community-oriented policing, hostage negotiations, drug diversion unit, and school resource officer. Mike has also been involved in many charitable and humanitarian programs like Shop with a Cop, Sub for Santa, Holiday Heroes, and drug treatment recovery events. He's excited to be involved in the groundbreaking of a new police department and join a great team of fellow officers. He loves spending his time off with his family, and I happen to know he loves his wife. He told me that and told me I had to say that, even though it's not written in the program. Thank you, Mike Ashley. Jason Huggard. Jason is a highly decorated 23-year veteran of law enforcement. During his career, he has had the opportunity to serve the Salt Lake Valley in many diverse assignments, including patrol operations, K-9 handler, violent crimes, robbery, and homicide detective, member of the training unit, SWAT team member, and assistant team leader for the sniper unit, and is a department liaison for a local community council. He looks forward to proudly serving the citizens of Riverton. Jason Huggard. Moses Fernandez. Moses has been in law enforcement for 19 years with the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office and the Unified Police Department. He's been a patrol officer, detective, and most recently a school resource officer. Nothing brings a smile to his face like riding a bike and being free. He has been cycling for 14 years and competitively for 8. He will soon graduate with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Weber State. He is married and has 2 daughters. Thanks. Moses Fernandez. Russ Barton. Russ has been in law enforcement for over 17 years. He began his law enforcement career at the North Salt Lake Police Department on his 21st birthday. He comes to Riverton after most recently working as a property crimes detective with the Unified Police Department. His roles have included motor officer, undercover narcotics investigator with the Davis Metro Narcotics Strike Force, and task force officer with the ATF. He and his wife Summer have been married for 17 years. Russ Barton. Travis Barrett. Travis comes to Riverton with just under 15 years of experience. Travis started his career with the Utah Valley University Police Department and then worked as a deputy for the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office. He has been with the Utah Highway Patrol for the last 11 years. While at UHP, he received the Medal of Excellence along with many other awards. He is originally from Columbia, Missouri, is married and has 2 children, ages 15 and 12. Thanks, Travis. Jeremy Wilson. Jeremy has been in law enforcement for 14 years. Prior to being hired by Riverton Police Department, Jeremy worked for the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office and Unified Police Department. He has held several different assignments during his career, which include patrol, motor squad, property crime investigator, and violent crime investigator. He has also conducted investigations as part of the FBI Violent Crime Task Force. During his free time, he enjoys spending time outdoors and with his family. Jeremy Wilson. Troy Morgan. Troy's worked for the Provo Police Department for 13 years, serving as patrol officer, field training officer, and detective. He's been a drug recognition expert, firearms and OC instructor. He's been a narcotics investigator and served in many SWAT roles. He is ranked as one of the top 10 shooters on the governor's honorary shooting list. He was awarded the Medal of Valor in 2011. Troy's been married to his wife Candace for 16 years and they have 3 children. Troy Morgan. Thanks, Troy. Kevin Salmon. Kevin's been a police officer for 13 years. He has worked as a K-9 handler, narcotics detective, motor officer, and instructor. He's worked for the West Valley City Police Department, Cottonwood Heights Police Department, and the Woods Cross Police Department, where he's promoted to corporal. He's been awarded the Medal of Valor and the Police Purple Heart. He's also served as a heavy machine gunner in the United States Marine Corps. He served 3 tours of duty in Iraq. Kevin Salmon. Jason Rue. Jason is a proud daddy of 2 who has 12 and a half years experience in law enforcement. He has served 10 years on the SWAT team. 6 of those as a team leader. He's been a patrol corporal and investigations corporal. He's been on the Special Victims Unit Major Accident Reconstruction Team. He's also a DARE officer, field training officer, and member of the Officer Involved Shooting Protocol Team. He is grateful for the opportunity to serve with the citizens of Riverton. Thanks, Jason. Andy Howlick. Andy has been in law enforcement for 13 and a half years and spent almost 12 years with the West Valley City Police Department. He was awarded the Meritorious Service Medal and Distinguished Service Medal for his actions within West Valley's Homicide Unit, as well as the Officer Involved Critical Incident Protocol Team. He has worked as a cold case homicide detective and was a member of the hostage negotiation team. He loves to help the community and enjoys his free time with his family. Jason Cormani. Jason comes to Riverton from the Lehigh City Police Department, where he served for the past 10 and a half years and achieved the rank of corporal. He served as a firearms instructor, field training officer, as well as on bike patrol, in investigations, and on the traffic team. He was awarded the Above and Beyond role for his role in arresting an Amber Alert wanted subject, resulting in the safe return of a kidnapped child. Jason lives in Lehigh with his wife Aubrey and 3 children. Thanks, Jason. Damian Olson. Damian is a 3rd-generation law enforcement officer and started his career in 2006 with the Draper Police Department, moving to Cottonwood Heights Police Department in 2011. He has served in many roles, including patrol, training, street crimes unit, investigations, SWAT, and the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force. He has been awarded 2 Police Star medals and 11 commendations. He lived in Riverton as a child and is excited to be a part of this great new police department. Damian Olson. Tanner Grill. Tanner has been a police officer for 8 and a half years. He has served in patrol, neighborhood preservation, and investigations. He has 7 years experience on the Provo Orem SWAT team, where he was a squad leader. He is fluent in Spanish and most recently finished serving 2.5 years as an undercover officer focused on disrupting and dismantling drug trafficking organizations. Tanner is a sworn FBI and U.S. Marshal Task Force officer. He enjoys spending time with his wife and 5 kids. Tanner. Gabe Westover. Gabe has been in law enforcement for 8 years and has been able to work in several different capacities. He was a member of the Utah County Major Crimes Task Force and was most recently assigned to the FBI Safe Streets Task Force. He is a rad instructor for women and children. He takes pride in this work and is grateful for the opportunity to help start a police department with an all-star cast. He is supported by his beautiful wife and 5 amazing kids. Mike Alcivar. Michael has been an officer in Utah for over 7 years. He is a 3-time Art Brown Award recipient for DUI enforcement. He received the Police Star for apprehending a suspect in active business burglary and received the Cottonwood Heights Police Department Lifesaver Award for his efforts in resuscitating an electrocution patient. Mike is experienced in proactive patrol techniques in small communities. He is motor certified, a post-certified canine instructor in patrol and narcotics detection, a post-certified firearms instructor, and field training officer. Mike also. Daniel McCarter. Daniel has been in law enforcement for 5 years. He has served as an officer in the Lehigh Police Department. During that time, he spent 4 years as part of the Utah County Metro SWAT team. He's a certified drug recognition expert and is also an instructor for taser, active shooter scenarios, and defensive tactics. Prior to his law enforcement career, he served in the United States Marine Corps as a corporal in artillery. He looks forward to serving the community of Riverton. Daniel. Kelley Huffaker. Kelley has been in law enforcement for 5 years. He is FTO and SWAT certified and was awarded Employee of the Year in 2017 from Lone Peak Police Department. Kelley is passionate about firearms training, handgun competitions, and learning combat medical skills. As a patrol officer, Kelley made it a goal to always be seen doing good. He loves to hike, camp, and hunt with his wife Jessie and kids Riley, Zane, and Sadie. He is looking forward to serving the citizens of Riverton. Kelley. Edward Estrada. Edward began his law enforcement career in 2015 with the DeKalb County Police Department in Atlanta, Georgia. He moved to Utah to be with his daughter, met his wife, and gained 2 more children. Edward served in Orange City and left as a decorated officer. He most recently worked for the West Valley City Police Department. He coaches baseball and has been on patrol, SWAT, and the mental health crisis team. Edward brings a strong work ethic and is excited to serve in Riverton. Edward Estrada. Spencer Harrison. Spencer has been in law enforcement for 3.5 years. He has worked as a patrol officer and was awarded several medals in his career, including Officer of the Month and a Team Commendation Medal. He enjoys staying physically fit and vacationing with his family. He is happily married and has 1 baby girl with another baby due any second. Spencer also speaks Spanish. Thanks, Spencer. Appreciate it. Donnie Johnson has a great name, first name. Donnie started his law enforcement career in corrections in Nevada. He moved to Utah in 2016, where he joined the American Fork Police Department. He's been an officer in Utah for 3.5 years now. He's been awarded the Medal of Valor and several unit citations for his work in American Fork. While there, he joined the Motor Squad, where he became an instructor and found his true passion. He is excited to now serve the people of Riverton. Donnie Johnson. Gavin Johnson. Gavin has been in law enforcement for approximately 3 years. He was born and raised in Arizona and moved to Utah in 2015 to attend the Salt Lake Community College Police Academy, graduating in 2016, and was awarded for being in the 95th percentile for physical fitness in his class. Following his graduation, he began his law enforcement service with the Lehigh Police Department. He looks forward to the opportunity to work for Riverton City. Gavin Johnson. Spencer Hyatt. And here comes Spencer with our other beautiful member of the Riverton Police Department, which I have to memorize his bio. So I'm going to read Spencer Hyatt's bio first. Spencer has been a law enforcement officer for 3 years. He started his career with the American Fork Police Department. During his time in law enforcement, he has served in many roles, including SWAT operator, motor instructor, field training officer, OC instructor, and canine handler. He grew up in a farming community and has a passion for ranching. He is married to Emily Burns of Sacramento, California, and they are the proud parents of a 10-month-old son named Graham. With Spencer right now is a little dog. I got to tell a story first, so hopefully the dog can be patient. So we went through the negotiation process to obtain our canine from the American Fork Police Department. That's where Spencer came from. So he's very attached, and the bond has been formed between Spencer and this dog, this canine. And so thank the American Fork Police Department. They gave us an opportunity to buy the dog and bring him with Spencer to our new department. And as we were going through this process, we were negotiating back and forth. Is this the way we want to go? Eventually, we made a determination we want to buy the dog. So we said, okay, let's buy it. We consummated the sale and said, okay, he's coming. I said, by the way, we've been negotiating for this dog this whole time. What's the name of the dog? And anyway, they said, I have... Anyway, this is a happy thing that I have one grandchild, and it's a grandson, and my grandson name is Titan, and our dog is named Titan. I shouldn't get emotional about it. Everything's great. I have a grandson, and he's wonderful. And we're going to see on our canine truck, you're going to see Titan across. So I'm going to tell my little grandson, he's 1 year old, and as he's growing up, I'm going to say, look, your name's across this canine truck. That's pretty cool. So anyway, Titan, we're very, very happy to have Titan with us, and Spencer. He'll be available to meet people and hang around with them. We just didn't want him to spend too much time hanging out here on the stage. So thanks for Spencer for doing that. He'll return before we do our swearing-in ceremony. Sorry, we got sidetracked a little bit. Robert Snell. Robert has a total of 10 years law enforcement experience with 8 years at the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office in corrections and 2 years with the Unified Police Department in the Mill Creek Precinct. He is married with 4 children between he and his wife. It's not every day you hire a police officer who met his wife in jail. But don't worry, they were both officers at the time. He enjoys the outdoors, exercising, cooking, and spending time with his wife and family. Thanks, Rob Snell. Dallas Mosier. Dallas has been in law enforcement just over 1 year. He was raised in Lehigh and Grove playing sports and mountain biking. He was an emergency dispatcher for Utah Valley University while he attended the police academy at the school. Shortly after graduating the academy, he was hired at the American Fork Police Department and married his wife Abigail. He has since received certifications as a drug recognition expert and phlebotomist. He's excited for this new chapter at the Riverton Police Department. Dallas Mosier. And last but not least, as far as our sworn members, Jonathan Perry. John Perry. John has been in law enforcement with the Unified Police Department for the last year. He worked primarily in Riverton and Mill Creek. Prior to Unified, Officer Perry worked with the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office as a correctional deputy in the jail. He graduated magna cum laude from Utah Valley University with a degree in criminal justice. He has been married for 5 years to a wonderfully supportive wife who is in her last semester of nursing school. They both look forward to being on the graveyard schedule together for years to come. He's our resident comedian as well, John Perry. So, let's give our sworn law enforcement officers a big hand. They deserve an ovation all by themselves. So, we also, as everybody knows, whoever is familiar with law enforcement, we can't survive without our civilian support staff. And so we have 4 civilian support staff, 3 who are full-time employees, and 1 who is a volunteer chaplain with our police department here tonight. So first, Kim Dean. Kim Dean is a victim advocate, also risk manager for Riverton. Kim worked at West Valley City for 20 years and Riverton City for the last 9 years. At Riverton, she has worked in the Legal and Human Resources Department as the city's risk manager. She was asked to help stand up the police department and was honored to accept that assignment. She continues doing many risk management duties, but she will also be the police department's victim advocate moving forward. Kim has 3 children and 1 grandson. Thanks, Kim Dean. Kim Billings. Records manager, Kim has been in law enforcement as a civilian just shy of 16 years. She started working at the Salt Lake County Jail in 2003 and transferred to the Sheriff's Office, UPD Technical Services Division in 2006. She transferred to the UPD Holiday Precinct as administrative assistant in 2015, where she provided support to the precinct chief, executive lieutenant, and other officers. She has been awarded a team citation, 3 Employee of the Month awards, 4 Sheriff's Incentive Awards, and the Chief's Award. Kim Billings. Thanks, Kim. Jason Jones. Property and Evidence Manager. Jason began his career at the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office in 1992. He served 19 years there and 4 years with the Unified Police Department. He was promoted to sergeant in 2007. He has had the following assignments: patrol, gang unit, canine, motors, canyons, jail investigations, major accident and violent crimes. He's been with the United States Marshal Service as a court security officer for the last 4.5 years. He is married to Catherine and has 2 adult daughters. He is a longtime Riverton resident. John Holloman. Our chaplain for Riverton Police Department is John Holloman, who has been a resident of Riverton for 35 years. He has been ministering to the citizens of our city for 30 years, including serving as bishop. Since retiring from BYU in 2012, he has received police training from the Unified Police Department, where he served in the Community Relations Unit and is currently a member of the Citizens Advisory Board for the Office of the Sheriff. John Holloman. Thanks, John. Okay, as soon as John gets settled, and we're going to do one more. So I'll now turn the time over to Mayor Staggs to talk us through how we're going to do this swearing-in ceremony. I think it's important to note, not to make anybody feel bad, that this isn't a wonderful, great event. We've already been sworn in officially so that we can do some of our duties that are required. This is more ceremonial at this point, but I just wanted to make that clear that this isn't the official time. We've been employees and full-time police officers for the last week or two. So, Mayor Staggs.
Thank you, Chief. Yeah, what a fantastic organization. Let's give them one more round of applause. As Chief indicated, these officers have been sworn in. They've filled their paperwork. Everybody was officially employed as of June 17th. But we felt it important that our city recorder be here nonetheless and administer the oath in front of all of you, our public, to witness this and just share in the gravity, the seriousness of this situation. So I've asked our city recorder, Virginia Loader, to stand up to administer that oath, after which we'll have some closing remarks by Chief Hudson and give you all an opportunity to congregate in the Commons area here and meet your brand new Riverton Police Department. Virginia.
Thank you very much. What an incredible honor it is to be here with these fine officers, fine professionals here on this stage. I literally could stand up here and speak for an hour and just thank everybody who has been instrumental in helping us build this police department, but I won't do that. But I will say a few words, but I do think it's important to, first of all, thank these officers, these professionals who have taken a chance. I wouldn't say it's a risk, but it is scary to leave your comfort zone and come to a new department that has not been established yet. And I know for a fact the reason that these officers chose to do so is because they want to be part of something special. And I feel like that is exactly what we're creating. Something that will be literally a customizable police department for the citizens of Riverton. 100% focused on public safety for the citizens of Riverton with no distractions. These are competent, incredible professionals, and it's an absolute honor for me to be standing with them on the same stage. I'm very happy about that. I do need to thank a couple of people. The first thing I need to do, apologize for fumbling around a little bit, but we think we have some of the coolest badges around. And the elected officials have supported us in the city of Riverton beyond belief. From the moment I first walked in the door of Riverton City Hall 6 months ago, it was absolutely incredible the support that I received. It is not without some uncertainty when a dramatic change is made in a community, especially when it has to do with enforcing the law and the public safety of the citizens. As the mayor already talked about, there may be no more sacred duty for the mayor of a city or any elected official for a city than making sure that their citizens are safe. And that typically starts with public safety and what public safety is offered in a particular community. So I want to thank publicly, we have some commemorative badges for the members of the City Council. So I will issue those to them. In fact, so that we don't spend too much time fumbling around, I will allow you to sorry that was a little awkward, but I'm sure you can get them to the proper place. They're really cool. Once they get them, they're going to be very happy about that. I'm convinced. I also need to thank all of our comrades, our law enforcement comrades, our fire comrades for being here and supporting us. It's wonderful. We have all, as we've talked about, we have all been part of law enforcement and public safety for many years, and we've built up a lot of friendships and associations. And it's nice to have those people when there is an element of uncertainty and you're not an established organization, to have them come to your aid. But that said, I would be remiss if I did not specifically mention the city of Harriman and the Harriman Police Department. They literally, as many of you know, have recently gone through an event very similar to this, and they literally opened their books for us. I can honestly say I'm not sure we would have been able to pull it off had it not been for that support. Not only from the police department, their command staff, all of their officers in helping us train, identifying speed bumps and issues that were going to be obvious. And so I want to publicly thank and make sure it gets on the record that we are forever grateful to Harriman City and the Harriman Police Department and the entirety of the city, literally. And we very much look forward to policing with them. Obviously, we share a border. There is some confusing borders, frankly, on the west side of the city, where it almost feels like you're in Riverton and Harriman at exactly the same time, which you may be at any particular moment. We will get that straightened out. The fact of the matter is, nobody will be unsafe because of that type of confusion. Because our relationship will be so good with Harriman City and South Jordan and Draper and all of our surrounding cities that it will be seamless and we will all support each other. I need to thank the other departments in Riverton City. They have been phenomenal. It's amazing to see a city come together, and as I said before, all of the departments in Riverton City have been unbelievable in their support and their willingness to help out and help us through this endeavor. There has been a phrase that has become kind of near and dear to my heart through this whole process. And that phrase is a three-word phrase, and it is, I got this. And let me explain why. What does I got this mean to me? Well, there have been times when I have not slept for a period of time, worrying about this or that or some event. I think it's important for you to understand. So I was hired for a period of time, and it was just me. I was the entire police department. And then I had to identify who I wanted to surround myself with. And so there were some lonely times there, some trying to identify what is the next 6 months going to look like. Obviously, unbelievable support from my family, my wife, and children, my adult children, who helped support my wife while I was away from home an awful lot. But back to the phrase, I got this. So there were times when it felt overwhelming. Like I said, I was not sleeping, and another task would come my way. And believe it or not, I literally heard that phrase probably 10 or 15 times during this process. And it came from a lot of different sources. Sometimes it wasn't in those exact words, but it was so important to me for me to be able to have somebody come to me and say, how can I help? And I would give them a task or a mission, and they would look in my eyes with confidence and be able to say, I got this. And that literally would take that off of my plate and allow me to focus on the other issues that I had to deal with, the other tasks at hand. That comfort allowed me to sleep at times when I was not sleeping, and I literally felt that comforting feeling frequently, both inside the department and with other members of the department, outside of our department, with citizens, with vendors, with all sorts of people that would tell me, I got this. And so that phrase has become quite important to me. And I literally could ramble on for a long, long time because I like to talk, as my wife and children would say. But I want to literally just leave us tonight with an opportunity to go out and mingle and be a little more informal, because that's what I prefer. But I can say, these proud members of the Riverton Police Department I need to say, before I get to my final statement, that the reason we wanted to read all of these biographies for all of these officers is to emphasize to all of you and to the public that we are in good hands. We all are. There is not a specialty law enforcement job that I can think of, that I've been around for 31 years, so I've seen a lot of specialty law enforcement jobs, that is not represented amongst this group. They've done it all. They've seen it all. Of course, in law enforcement, you don't see everything all the time, and we'll come to work one day and say, I've never seen that. But literally, they have seen just about everything you can imagine. With that said, this group, these proud members, emphatically and unequivocally can proclaim to the citizens of Riverton and to the community and to the citizens of Salt Lake County at large that we got this. Thank you very much.